We reached a milestone in September of 2025. It was the 20th anniversary of the establishment of the Stafford County Fire and Rescue Department by the Board of Supervisors. Our department was built on the foundation of decades of proud volunteer fire and rescue service in our community. For the past 20 years, dedicated volunteer and career personnel have worked side by side to protect and serve our community. This is Stafford County Fire and Rescue, past, present, and future.
I think one of the things is the profession grows on you and you can't get away with it. I've been 60 years involved in it and I'm still involved in it. And I'd like to start off and give you a little historical perspective of the county. Falmouth started in 1941, so the next station coming online was around 1959 to 1960, which was Mountain View. 1962, the Stafford Volunteer Fire Department, and the land was donated by S.K. Young.
In 1963, both the Widewater and Brook Volunteer Fire Departments were formed. Those stations were followed by the Hartwood Volunteer Fire Department in 1966.
1970, White Oak came online. Land was donated by the Fines family.
In 1973, the Stafford Volunteer Rescue Squad was formed. They were the first rescue squad in the county. In 1976, the Rock Hill Fire and Rescue Department started. And in 1982, Mountain View Rescue came online.
1989, Rescue Engine 9 was established from leased property at Aquia Harbor.
In 1991, the White Oak Rescue Squad opened, followed by the Potomac Hills Volunteer Fire Department in 1993. In 2008, two new fire stations were opened. Station 12 in Berea and the Stafford Volunteer Fire Department moved into a county facility on Jason Mooney Drive. In 2008, Station 14 was established in an old farmhouse on Shelton Shop Road. Today, Stafford County Fire and Rescue operates out of 15 fire stations across the county.
You can see we've gone from one station to provide that fire and EMS services that the citizens of Stafford want.
My involvement in the Stafford County Fire and Rescue started in Fredericksburg Rescue Squad as a junior in 1968. I put in my application when I turned 18. A friend of mine called me and said, "Hey, you've been voted in, come on up." And about an hour and a half after I got voted in, I was on the back step of one of the engines heading up to a house fire.
Citizen had a fire, they would call a local number to the fire station, and it would ring at houses throughout the community where the wives or somebody would be home. They would answer the phone, take down the information, go to the fire station, set off the siren. How do we know, the other apparatus to know where we're going? They had lime bags, brown bags full of lime, and when they went through an intersection, they would throw it out of the window. If they threw it on the right, they turned right. If they threw it on the left, they turned left. If they threw it in the center of the intersection, they went straight through the intersection.
When I first started running calls, I was hooked. There was no question I was coming back. In the late 80s, early 90s, I had a core group of friends and we started going to the firehouse. All the stations knew each other, but there was competition. So, at least in my head, there was.
I volunteered at Falmouth Fire Department from 92 to 2003. Everybody knew everybody. And it was not a war, but it was a game. It was to the community's benefit. And not only was it here in just Stafford, like if we had a chance to go to the city of Fredericksburg for fire, it was competitive.
When you call 911, you don't know if the person that's on the fire truck or on the ambulance is career or volunteer, and you don't care. You just want your family taken care of.
So in the late 80s, they hired 12 EMS providers, 12 medics.
I adored being a paramedic. I loved it. And I still am a paramedic. They're gonna have to pry that card out of my cold dead hands. Actually worked for 22 years for Stafford County. The county then was, the career people were EMS only at that time.
I got my EMT in 1987. At the time, the response times for Stafford was very oppressive. We were trying to make headway in the early days.
When I came in 2003, the county had, I think it was about 14 volunteer fire and rescue companies. It was always a challenge to keep up with the growth and make sure that we were providing the response time.
Some of the volunteers have done such a great job, which they were. Why do we need to bring in paid staff? Or I looked at it, I realized the population explosion. And at that time, folks weren't volunteering as much.
We were seeing the county just grow and grow and grow and grow.
Volunteerism, a lot of people aged out of it because of the, they used to say it's not your father's firehouse anymore because everybody had to work now.
It's not that they don't have loyalty, and it's not like they don't have heart, and it's not like they don't have some of these intangibles that they need to stay. They just don't have time, and time is, that's paramount.
We would have 30 to 40 minutes before an ambulance left the firehouse or the rescue squad. And that was the catalyst for a lot of change in the county.
That just made us want to redouble our efforts to work even harder to tell the story to the Board of Supervisors, to tell the story to the community as to why we needed to invest even more in public safety resources.
Volunteers was down, and population was out, so we had to do it.
In 2005, Rob Brown was hired to run the combined system.
I can say it was a true honor to be appointed as Stafford County's first fire chief. Stafford County was experiencing rapid growth. They had a proud tradition of volunteer fire companies, both fire and rescue, and combined. The board really wanted to see fire and rescue grow with the county.
The integration process was begun from a budgeting standpoint, equipment standpoint, dispatching.
We really decided going in that we were one department, we had one mission, but we had many partners.
I started at Stafford County Fire and Rescue in 2010, and at that time the department was obviously still fairly new, about 5 years old. We were looking at staffing, how we can improve staffing or provide the coverage that the county needed. Every call, every first alarm, every extrication was beginning to demonstrate a very clear need for us to increase our staffing.
My name is Joe Granger. I'm the Assistant Chief of Administrative Services for the Stafford County Fire and Rescue Department, and I am in my 21st year of service. The biggest thing that I think about from 2004 to 2010 was really rapid change. You kind of never knew what was going to happen next because things were changing so fast.
If you go in and just start slinging an axe, it's not going to work. So it took building trust and building partnerships. Today, as they celebrate their 25th anniversary as a department, you can look back on the success of the department during my tenure as fire chief and the tenure of the other and the two fire chiefs that followed me.
It was May of 2008, Mother's Day weekend, and Chief called me about 11 o'clock. He said, "We got hit in South Stafford. I'm coming to pick you up."
I remember that night we got dispatched for an automatic fire alarm. That's how the whole night started. The dispatch center started getting inundated with requests for service. It was obvious that something catastrophic had happened. It turns out that an F2 tornado had come through the south end of Stafford County.
The community response was really phenomenal. And I think because we had the combination department, that everybody was so focused on emergency management that we could help the community recover.
It was an opportunity for Stafford County to really step up for its people. The Fire and Rescue Department has really been tasked with keeping up with the demand for services. The last 15 years, we've developed a more strategic approach and grown the department more methodically. A lot of the people that were here early on have helped us grow the department, develop the department, and are still here and are still having a positive impact.
For me, this was my dream come true. It will always be. When I retired, it was really hard. I loved my job so much.
I look back on those times now, and it's probably the most fun I ever had. In my entire life. We were all connected, like family.
When you get on a fire truck or the EMS unit and respond to an incident, you're dedicated to the citizens. There's no, greater feeling than being able to help somebody in the worst time in their life.
It's a very unique set of experiences. And I think that that's what makes it so special is you're doing those things with your coworkers.
It's the best job in the world. It is. I truly enjoy my job. I tell anybody that I do know that's coming into the system, like, get everything you can out of this job. Enjoy it, and it's the best job in the world. It truly is.
There were a lot of fantastic people who were working here in the Department of Emergency Services beforehand. There will continue to be phenomenal people who lead this organization for the next 20 years.